listening to the story of how the Dhyana Linga came about. And there's a very interesting I don't know or I can't understand to that story. Could you tell me the story? How you decided that you were going to do it and what the history of it is?
It's a long story, man.
We have time.
Wow. One thing is, right from my infancy, I had a mountain peak in my eyes. Till I was 16 years of age, I did not know that it's only in my eyes. I thought in everybody's eyes there's a mountain peak. Because how do I know what's in your eyes or not? I thought in everybody's eyes there is a mountain peak, a specific peak. Always in the background, awake or asleep, it's always constant. Then when I was around 16, I'm talking to my friends and about my mountain. They said, "Are you crazy? What's happened to you? Get your eyes tested." My father is an ophthalmologist. Then I started looking, what is this mountain peak? Nobody I checked with, nobody had mountains. Then my madness to trek mountains came to me. I trekked across Western Ghats extensively. That's where my education is. I didn't go to school or college.
You were just trekking, huh?
I trekked a lot.
By yourself?
Yes, largely.
Okay.
Of course, there were all of the creatures were there.
Sure. None of the talking creatures.
No, they talk too, if you listen hard enough. Everybody talks. There's a lot of social media happening there. Really. Elephants are communicating in subsonic sounds across 1,000 miles.
You mean that?
Yes.
You mean with the tap of their legs?
No, they're communicating with sounds which are subsonic. Whales are communicating thousands of miles across the oceans, and one reason why they're confused is because of the shipping that their communication is getting, disturbed. Elephants are communicating big time, subsonic sounds. You can't hear that. So, I spent a lot of time trekking. Wherever I went, I'm looking for this peak and I never found one, which looks exactly the same. Then when I was 19, I started going to Himalayas thinking it may be there. The first time I went there, I realized it's not there because the nature of this peak and what is in Himalayas are very different. But Himalayas caught my imagination, and 27 years, nearly, 27 years, every year I went back to Himalayas, trekking. These days, last 17, 18 years, we've been going to Tibet and Nepal because the mountain madness never left me. This was in '87, my search for mountains was still going on. Wherever I went, I started teaching from '82 onwards. And wherever I went, people want me to set up a center. I'm not for that because I thoroughly enjoyed my physical freedom at that time, and that I thought is very important, which takes some maturing to see that's not the way life works. And when you travel, you think you're free, but actually there are more restrictions and more issues, physical things going on when you travel alone than when you're simply sitting in your home, actually.
Sure.
So, travel kept on happening, teaching also kept me traveling, but wherever I went, people say set up a center, whatever. I said no. Many places they offered, but I said no. Because I was still looking for this peak. It's in '87, for the first time I came here and I saw you don't see that from here, there is something called as the seventh hill, a peak. I can show you that picture. First time I set my eyes on it, I knew this is it, I've come here. And after that it disappeared from my eyes. Then I walked down here, there were no roads coming here completely,
I can imagine.
You had to cut through and come. And I came here and said, this is where we'll set it up. They said, "Sadhguru, are you crazy? We don't know whose land this is, what is it is, how can we do this?" I said, "Just find out whose it is, this is where we'll set it up." On the 11th day, after I set my foot on that, it was registered in our names. And after that, all this has happened. I thought I'll set up Dhyana Linga and go away. But all these idiots, will they let me go?
these people are holding you here.
Yes.
This peak, for instance, you talk about, and I spent my time reading this book over the last couple of days. It's so interesting. You talk about the experience you have in 1982, seeing a peak constantly. A mere mortal like me would be very scared of something of that nature.
Don't bull me like this. I'm a mere mortal like me.
An amateur.
That's not how you behave with other people. You're a very important guy.
No,
With
whenever
me, you're saying I'm a mere mortal. What do you want to be?
I'll choose my words more carefully, Sadhguru. My question is like to 29-year-old Prakhar, that is a very scary description of an experience. That you're sitting on top of a rock for 5 hours and it seems like it's been 5 minutes. That you've lived 18, 20, 30 years of your life seeing a peak in your eye that's mysteriously hidden between these hills. Like, is that not scary? How does one see it?
See, it is that to have such an experience only you had drink, and if you went for more things in Delhi, all these things you did only looking for some experience like that, but unsuccessfully. Just because it's successful you would get scary. Suppose all the time you've blown away. Look, I'm covering my eyes because I'm always stoned. No substances, simply stoned from within.
The natural order of things.
Yes, because there is something called as endocannabinoids in the body. You can generate this as you want. Right now there are studies to show that people who do Shambhavi Mahamudra for 6 to 8 weeks, their endocannabinoid level is 70% higher than normal. That means they're just blissed out all the time. Their Anandamide levels are very, very high. We have a center in the Beth Israel Hospital, which is in the Harvard Medical School. They are saying the level of, the pleasant chemicals that are happening in the body post these practices is much bigger than what happens in a sexual orgasm, way bigger. This is why all those things just dropped away. Not because somebody gave up something, because something much bigger is happening. Small things drop away. When you were a child, did you play with a bear or a teddy bear or something,
Sure.
some toy? At that time it meant a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
At that time if I came and grabbed your toy and went away, you would cry the whole day. But do you know what happened to the toy now?
It's probably trash.
No.
Yeah, it's broken, resold.
Do you know when it dropped?
No, I have
See,
no
look at
memory.
that.
Yeah.
So it's just growth, isn't it? You grew into little bigger things, small things. Just vanished without your notice. This is the same thing. If something much bigger begins to happen within you, small things just poof, they're gone. You never gave them up. You did not give up your thumb sucking. It just went away, isn't it?
Sure.
Just like that.
I'll probably situate my question in a little bit of a personal context. I've practiced Vipassana for about 4 or 5 years. I started right before the pandemic. The pandemic was its own thing. And then I was back.
Oh, you were the one who caused it.
They say so. There are rumors to that effect. Only last year when I was at my Vipassana retreat for 10 days, I came out it was a very overwhelming experience. Almost out of, like I couldn't control the amount of emotion and sensation and all that was happening in me. And I didn't, even if I tried to just watch it, it would not happen. Long story short.
First of all, let's settle this.
Yes, sir.
You want to be controlled or liberated?
Liberated.
Then why are you talking about I couldn't control?
I just remember constantly feeling a fear I couldn't even neutrally observe from a distance. Like it was so overwhelming. And
No, that's because you're a control freak. You want to control everything.
And you say just feel the fear?
No, I'm not saying anything. All I'm asking is, do you want this mind and this life to be controlled or liberated? Make up your mind. Liberated.
Yes.
So if it's liberated, what it means is it'll cross boundaries that you are familiar with. So if anything within you goes into unfamiliar terrain, if you're going to suffer that, all the best.
If I'm going to try and control, I will suffer that. I did see that.
No, if you control that, what it means is you want to remain in familiar terrain.
Fair.
That means you like to be a prisoner. See, it is like this, you take a bird, imprison it in a cage, daily feed it nicely and make it fat little bird, all right?
Right.
And then one day you open the door, the damn thing won't fly.
Sure.
Because free food is coming, it's sitting in the cage, safe, no predators, no nothing, happy. Happy or not, fat is happy, you know. Lot of fat gathers in you, you lose interest in everything. I'm not talking about just physical fat, I mean,
Yeah, psychological fat.
bulk gathers in you, then you feel substantial but inadequate.
I see that from your standpoint, this grammar
No,
applies.
not my standpoint, I'm asking you as life. Leave my… I'm not expressing my opinion, I'm just asking you, is it true that if you become excessively comfortable in a given place, even if you have the opportunity to walk away into another land, you won't go because, yeah, okay, food is coming, I'm comfortable, why go anywhere?
I agree. But the experience itself had no element of comfort, and the overwhelm was so strong, I came out thinking, what if I go crazy? Like, what if this is…
Why are you not going crazy? That's what I'm asking.
Sadhguru, I have a family to take care of, no? I'm speaking from the viewpoint of everybody who's watching, for whom this language is mystical, to say the least, right?
No, let me come to this. See, crossing boundaries always will create something. You see, just yesterday I was in the HAL airport where they were testing one of our fighter jets. That doesn't, usually cross the Mach. If an airplane just goes by faster than sound above us, boom, it'll explode, maybe glass panes will break here. Nothing, there's no explosion, there's no explosive involved, nothing caught fire, nothing happened. Just the speed, something broke. Something broke its limits, boom. So if you break your limits, something boom will happen within you. That's what you're reading that book, it's called Enlightenment, all right?
Right.
So you don't want any boom to happen. Even creation wouldn't have happened if there was no big boom or bang, whatever you want to call it. So right now, if something more than what you are needs to happen, something must break, isn't it? Hello?
Fair.
Some boundary must be broken. If boundaries are not broken, nothing new will happen. That is why people are safe and secure, but they're bored to death about their lives.
I follow. Do I need a support in this breaking, in this crossing of boundaries?
If there is support, you wouldn't have that fear.
I would probably have less of a fear, yes.
If you were crossing the boundary and boom happened, if I was standing there, you know I am in that place and I am fine.
Right.
Would that give you reassurance or no?
I think so, yes.
You boomed and nobody there. Of course you're scared.
And you're silent and you can't even talk, right? In that circumstance.
You could scream, nobody would stop you.
Right. So having a support would help.
Don't call it support. See, right now, I jumped off the mountain and started flying. I told you how to do it. But if I didn't fly ahead of you and I say, you do all this, you can fly, would you ever take off?
No, probably not, yes.
We've had this, I was a hang glider pilot at one time.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah.
I still have my hang glider, musty and unmaintained, still sitting in my house. So, we go to this place called Ullatti in Ooty. Nilgiris, you've been there?
Probably not, but I've heard of… as a kid, Ooty,
There's
yes.
a place called Ullatti, where the drop is about 600, 700 feet, and the wind comes and it's going up like this. It's a surefire flying place. That is, if you jump, it'll just throw you up. 100, 150 feet up, you'll go just like that. Instead of going down, you go up. You know that's how the wind will work. If you throw a piece of paper, boom, it'll go up. So your hang glider also will go up. But most of them spend a whole day. They will gather their courage, scream, "Ah!" and come and last minute stop. Because when you look down, but a more experienced hang glider pilot takes off and boom, he goes away. Then the next guy gets little. Okay, after all, he didn't get killed so you will fly. This is just like that.
Yeah.
Somebody is already there. Doesn't it make it so much easier? Nobody is there. It's hard, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
Unless you are totally crazy.
Yes. Unless you have really nothing to lose in your head.
There's nothing to lose actually. What have you got?
I'd like to think I have my family.
We'll see. I'm not saying… it's an arrangement that you make for your well-being. Let it go well. It's my blessing that everything should go well. We build a building because we need a shelter. We build a kitchen because we need food. Similarly, we need family for our emotional and our well-being. Whatever, this is our life. Nothing wrong. It must be managed well, and it must be kept well. I hope it happens wonderfully, all right? But you're still alone, isn't it, within you?
Yeah. Yes.
And that is the greatest privilege you have. Nobody else can enter you. You have your own space and time. Doesn't matter how involved you are, how engaged you are with the world around you. You may call it family, you may call it friend, you may call it workplace, you may call it world, general world, doesn't matter. But involvement makes you feel like it's one, which is wonderful. What this means is, what was not you, you're trying to make it a part of you. This is yoga. Yoga means union.
Yes.
You sit here, what is not you becomes a part of you. Because your individuality is a myth that is created by your mental structure. The amount of memory you carry, that is the size of your world, isn't it?
Agreed.
So right now, suddenly you're in love with a girl, you put her into your memory in a prominent place, suddenly she's a part of you. Yes or no?
Yes.
But when you sleep, do you sleep alone or is there somebody inside of you?
No.
You sleep alone?
Yes.
The same will happen when you die. I'm saying,
Right.
all right?
Yeah, I follow.
The same is happening even now. This doesn't mean the other is not valuable. You must see everything for what it is and make it valuable. You should not lie to yourself and to make it valuable. You don't add lies to make it valuable. In reality, everything is valuable. This coconut tree is valuable. You may not climb it, but it's valuable as a life if you pay enough attention. Similarly, you may marry a coconut tree one day. In India, they marry trees, you know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm saying it's your involvement. Your involvement makes another person feel like he or she is a part of you. And that's fantastic, because that's a small-scale yoga. We want you to feel this way about the whole cosmos, that you felt, you experienced the whole cosmos as yourself. Then it's fantastic. So somewhere, some possibility like that you came… Were you drunk in the Vipassana?
No.
Okay,
No chance.
very good.
I don't enjoy alcohol nearly as much.
Okay. No, because both were tried for the same reason, I want you to understand. One goes to the temple, one meditate, another drinks, another drugs. For what? To break limitations, isn't it? Question is about what is the right method, what works really, what doesn't work. It's about that. The question is not about intent. Everybody's intent is same. They may be doing it in crude ways, in ignorant ways, but intent is same. People want to break their limitations, isn't it?
Yes.
You can call it love, what is it? You broke your limitations.
Right.
You are like this, now little bit, something opened up.
Yes.
You call it drink, something opens up, an idiot who can't sing in the bathroom starts singing on the street. All right?
Right.
Because it loosens him up.
Right.
So I am saying you're trying to do it in simplistic ways, which can work for a little bit of time and go back. If I give you a method where you can sit here, no need to do anything, simply you can open up to the whole universe. Interested?
Yeah.
But no, you're not, because if you step there, nothing to hold. In the middle of the universe, what to hold? But if you see me floating there, then you're okay. That guy is also in trouble, let me also get into it.
गाइज अगर ये सुन के आपको भी लगा वाओ मैं भी ऐसे सोचना चाहता हूँ, मैं सीखना चाहता हूँ ऐसे कैसे सोचते हैं, तो क्या करना है? सब्सक्राइब का बटन, सब्सक्राइब।